The Lord bless you and the Lord keep you. My name is Prophet Clement, and I'm here today for this special Saturday book launch. And I'm here with me with Pastor Brian Abraham. And
Amen. God bless you, sir.
what a blessing it is today. I am really excited. So this is what I want you to do. If you're there right now and you're watching this program, this is what I really want you to do. I need you to get on the phone because there's something you're about to discover. Today we will be discussing serious issues, especially things that affect men, especially men, but also that is able to affect especially families. And sometimes you will hear testimony and stories about, sometimes when people are desperate, they can do things that which you never expected. So if you are there right now, please, this is what I want you to do. I want you to share. If you're there right now, you belong to any Facebook group, whatever it is, I believe God put you there for a purpose. I believe that God can use you today to change somebody's life, save somebody's marriage. I'm talking about rescue somebody's relationship and build somebody's family. So if you are there right now, I want you to do me a great favor. And I want you to go right now to your Facebook groups. And I want you quickly to share this link right now. Share it with friends, share it with family. But I also want you to go to your WhatsApp. If you're there, you have a WhatsApp group, go there too and share it. And I know that the Lord will bless you. So quickly, I want to be able to introduce you. We are here today to launch this powerful book. I can say this is the book of the century. I'm talking about Tears of a Husband. Myself, Prophet Clement, I'm an author of about over 50 books. And I know when a good book, I see one. I read at least 2 to 3 books every week. And to be honest with you, since the time I came across this book, I have read it again and again and again. So, Pastor Brian.
Yes, sir.
I want to welcome you especially to today's program.
Thank you so
much.
much.
But I'm going to start with a very interesting question.
Wow.
Why Tears of a Husband? Why the title? We're talking about this book. Why the Tears of a Husband?
That is a very, very interesting question. And that is a question that I've been having. I remember even when I first started this journey of writing this book, my wife also asked me, what's this title? What is wrong with this title? Even my editor, everybody was asking. But it is a title for me that it provokes a lot. I don't know, there are people who are watching there who are as excited as I am to read about this book, but there was a lot of emotion for me when I wrote this book. It was based on emotion. So when you begin to hear the title Tears of a Husband, you begin to look deep down and say, okay, husband crying, what is he crying about? Who made him cry, or what made him cry? So there's a lot of questions that come in there. So when I chose that title, I went through a lot of titles, so many titles that I went through, and they didn't feel right. They just didn't feel right. But when I came to this particular title, it was when the book cover actually came. I remember I was discussing with yourself about the book cover, and we were just going through ideas, and came up with the face of a lion, and then we started to think, okay, lion crying, tears of a husband, and boom. That's where the title came, Tears of a Husband. And for me, it's very personal. It's about talking about a journey. Majority of the time, men of God, men, we don't talk about feelings. Mm-hmm. Men, we don't talk about what's going on inside.
They're all closed in.
It's closed in. And one of the things I love about this book is I was able, through that journey, it wasn't easy. That's why in the subtitle there I say a journey, because it is a journey for you to realize that you're able to talk about those feelings. As a man, sometimes you feel pressured, depending on where you come from, how you grew up. It's very challenging for you to talk about your emotions, to show your emotions. But in this book, I lay it bare. That's why I called it Tears of a Husband. It's about laying bare that journey, because it was a journey for me to realize that I can overcome, but I only need to talk about issues that were going on in my life.
And in this book, you are talking very sensitive things.
Yes.
I've read through it. You're talking sensitive things. We're talking about things that actually are rarely spoken. Yeah?
That's right.
They are seen. You see, there's a difference when you can see something, you can see somebody's going through something,
That's
but they
right.
will not talk about it. Now, tell us, about this book as we start with, because even the reason why I wanted first of all to start with the cover.
That's right.
And you know, when you see with the cover itself, it's very catching.
That's
you
right.
see a lion.
That's right.
A lion crying.
That's right.
You see, when you see a lion, is supposed to be bold.
That's right.
You see, a lion is supposed to be strong, and especially this a male lion.
That's right.
And when you see a lion crying, it lets you know that something somewhere it's not right.
That's right.
Something is hurting.
That's right.
There is something inside. This is a problem from inside.
That's right.
Now, in this book, The Tears of a Husband, those who are watching us right now, I want you to tune in, because right now, Pastor Brian is going to take us through this book. He's going to take us, we're going to be able to go through this book. And I want to be able to say that I'm glad. I'm really, really glad that you made me a part of this project.
That's right.
And one of the things I remember, especially with the cover, is not only that, but also even when I was going through the book, you told me, have a look at it, because even as you can be able to see, those who will be opening this book, you're able to see there's a forward.
Yes, there's a forward there.
And this is what I write, and I wrote this from deep down in my heart. It is my pleasure. That is why I'm here today. It's my pleasure to introduce to you one of the most amazing books that you'll ever have an opportunity to read. In all my years, I've not come across many books like this that leave a profound effect on your life. Pastor Brian's life story carries a lot of weight. Sometimes in life, it takes a real man to come out and talk about the things that no one else is willing to speak, and this requires a real warrior. From the cover to the last page of this book, you will experience epic journey from the real emotional struggle.
That's right.
And you talked about journey.
That's right.
And it's amazing because it is the same one that when I was reading this book, I saw it about journey, to struggle to great transformation.
That's
for
right.
who you are right now.
That's right. Very true.
If people really know who you were before and who you are right now, that is why this book is like a toolbox. This book is like a toolbox. It's like a tool that you can use actually to adjust yourself as you move into what God is calling you. I say, and now to those who are watching us right now, wherever you are right now, I have known Pastor Brian. Watch here now. I have known Pastor Brian. I've known him personally for over 10 years. Every miracle you're about to hear about in this book, I have participated in it. I have seen it come to pass. And I found myself reading this book again and again and again. And the most amazing thing here is, Pastor,
That's right.
I want to share this with you. And if you are there, you're listening, every time when I read this book, guess what? I come out stronger emotionally. I come out stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And especially, some of the things that you have gone through.
That's true. That's
true.
true.
And we will be discussing that because there are things that are not just spoken like that, but you brought them up.
That's right.
So begin to take us on this journey.
I will.
And there are people there
That's
now
right.
that wants to give us just first a brief history or an introduction, about the tears of a husband. There are people right now
That's
I can
right.
see. I know some of you here right now you are overexcited. Some of you right now you have you're getting a little bit concerned. Please, we want to know because when they look, especially with these
That's
lions
right.
behind us
That's
and everything else, they're wondering, was it abuse? because sometimes when you see tears of a husband, it
That's
means
right.
that probably it could be abuse.
That's right.
It could be, and especially, I'm not trying to get you off way, but I just saw today, this week alone, over 4,000 phone calls were made about domestic
That's right.
violence.
That's right.
So, and listen to me, you are entitled. You are there right now. The reason why I know every one of you right now, you are entitled to think the way you're not thinking. And I do appreciate that because your thinking helps us to contribute to the energy and preparing the atmosphere and expectation of what is about to happen here in this place. And the most interesting thing that I want to be able to share with you here is because especially, when you hear tears of a husband,
That's right, sir.
It talks. A husband crying. That means maybe he's been beaten. There's a husband beater somewhere. Who has been beating the wife. where there is concern.
That's right.
And or maybe because let me just bring, because I know there are people that are watching.
That's
there.
true. And it's funny that you say that, man of God. And it's so easy for you to relate to that topic
And
when
I'm
you read
coming.
this book.
And I'm coming because
That's
what?
right.
These are sensitive things.
Yes.
I'm coming to that now.
Wow.
Watch here now. So you are there right now. Could it be this book that you're watching right now, wherever you are, could it be today? I want somebody to guess.
That's right.
And actually, whoever is going to
That's
guess
right.
it, if you are there right now, you can guess whatever what this book is all about. I want people right now to exercise their imagination.
That's right.
Tears of a Husband.
That's right.
A lion. And that lion, when you look at it, it's very interesting because he's looking somewhere.
That's true.
So it's paying attention on something.
And something.
It's not just relaxing or sleeping. No, it has seen something, but it has tears. But it looks as if it can't move because something is holding it.
That's right.
So could it be Tears of a Husband, this book? Could it be maybe it's about a man who was beaten by the wife? Could it be maybe a man who was left by a wife?
With the children?
With the children.
That's right.
Pack and go.
That's right. That's right.
We're talking about tears of a husband. We're talking about tears of a husband. We're not talking about tears of a boyfriend. We're talking about tears of a husband.
That's right.
Yeah. Could it be maybe is a husband who the wife is in exile? When I talk about exile, is the common word that you use where both you're separated. You can't come back on your own free will.
That's right.
They are what we call economic exile.
Yeah.
We're talking about maybe it could be is an exile, maybe somebody for political exile.
Exactly.
And then you are separated from your family. And as a result of it, you go through pain. I know there are people that are going through that situation.
That's true.
Where they're not able to see their children again, they're not able to see their wife again, and those are tears.
That's true.
Could it be maybe? I'm just trying to find out whatever it is. Could it be maybe it could be a husband, maybe who is going, maybe we're talking about medical issue or whatever it is. He cannot do what he needs to do for his family. There's a husband, but what could it be? So now we have had a lot of speculation that going around.
That's true.
Now we want you to tell us which one is it?
Wow, that's so amazing. That narration. It's when I wrote the book, it was for that specific thing. For me, it was specific for what I went through and what my wife and my family were going through. But it's very amazing when you were talking. You said when you read the book, you've been reading it over and over again, and that's one of the things that I've been doing. It's so much different when you read the book in draft form, and you've been working on it. Some things don't make sense, but once the book was complete, I began to read it over and over again in its completed form. And there were so many things that were coming through like, oh my Lord, this is just not about what I went through. I could relate to the next person who was going through something else, but they were going through that journey of whatever they were going through. But as you said, for those of you who follow me on my Twitter handle, my Facebook, or Instagram.
Sorry, I've just got a question here. They're saying, please, okay, Pastor, we want to know I've just got somebody here. They're just saying, Pastor, we understand.
Yeah.
But we want to know, why did you write this book? Which one is it? Because it is about tears of a husband. This is very sensitive topic.
That's right.
They want to know, because here you say that you've laid bare the emotions.
That's true.
So why did you write? What really? Now I wonder, another one has just asked.
That's right.
And they're saying, and there's quite a number of people, they're saying, please, can you let us know?
That's right.
Can you let him let us know that why did you write this book? They want now to get to the point.
They want to get to the point. And it's very, very good that you want to know. And I want to encourage you to go. This book is going to be available. And I'm not going to say a lot. I'm not going to spill a lot of beans, men of God, because I want somebody out there to get that opportunity. Because one of the most important things that one needs to do is to go through the book and get to understand where the journey began.
Wait. I can hear Susan.
Yes.
Susan, Pastor Susan from Glasgow.
Okay.
She says that the husband Beaters, they need to get this book. This is very, very interesting. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you so much right now. Thank you so much right now, Pastor Susan or Minister Susan from Glasgow.
Okay.
She says that all the husband beaters, they need to get this book. You see, this is exactly what I was trying to say.
That's true.
You know, so people, so now as we begin to talk about it, it's very, very important. Thank you so much right now, Victoria's great Ominike. You know, thank you so much for always your support. Thank you so much for joining in to where this program is concerned. So now, Pastor, we don't want to somebody has said it is because of economic exile.
So many people. So many people.
Yes.
So many people.
So
and
now,
I think already people are already tapping into that great knowledge and wisdom of the book, even though they haven't read it yet, but they are already tapping into that wisdom.
So get us now. Get to the point here now. Get to the point now.
Okay.
People right now, they're really, really Felicia Marion.
Okay.
She's saying, well done, Brother Brian. He says
right.
very well. Laura Carter, she said blessing. Thank you so much for tuning to this. I'll tell you one thing, this book is a masterpiece.
Amen.
You know, so Pastor Brian right now, it's quite, you know, so why did you write this book? We need to know because there's a lot of speculation coming. And when you have a lot of speculation coming, sometimes it can override everything.
That's true.
So we really want to hear, you know, the story behind it.
That's all right. I'll keep the story brief, man of God, because the story is long. But one of the most amazing things that happened, it was the testimony that provoked me to write this book. So I don't know, maybe somebody's asking, what do you mean by that, Pastor Brian? It was the testimony. I grew up in a well-to-do family. Things were going okay, nothing amiss here and there, you know, just a regular kind of lifestyle. But as I speak more in my book, when I became of age and, you know, started to do what other people do when they grow up, start working, start doing this, I never thought that, you know, issues would come knocking on my door. I know somebody's saying, come on, Pastor, hurry up, I'll get there, because I just need you to understand.
And that is exactly what Pastor said.
I will get there, because I just need you to understand that this journey, there's always a journey, but you start somewhere, point A, and then you get to point B. So it was within that testimony. What happened all this time? The testimony provoked me to write this book. So in a nutshell, I remember when then eventually I got married, you know, going through the whole issues of life, got married in the end. And when I got married, you know, I'm an African man. I grew up in an African household. There are certain expectations that are there for a man. Obviously, certain expectations that are there for a woman, but I think the expectation is more heavier on the women, also on the men. But I think sometimes the men, we have it easier. But the expectation was then that after one gets married, you need to have a child. You need to have a child, and that is one of the reasons why I wrote the book. So we got married, and over the years in our marriage, we kind of struggled to have children. It was a challenge. I remember it's something that I talk about in the book there, where we got married and we started to enjoy life. I mean, look, we were a young couple. We had everything going on for us. We were not worried about money. We were not worried about cars. I mean, we drove the latest cars. We have and still have that amazing house. I mean, we had everything: good jobs, good careers, no struggle for any money or anything. I mean, our life appeared set.
I mean, we're talking about a couple.
That's right.
Yeah, a husband and a wife, married.
That's right.
Traditionally married.
That's right.
We'll come there because we're going to come back again. It's
Okay.
very, very important. We're talking about traditional marriage.
That's right.
Legally married.
Yes.
A couple.
That's right, sir.
Happy.
Uh-huh.
Hi, honey.
That's right.
In the house.
Yes.
Go to work.
Everything.
Come back.
Uh-huh.
Drive nice car.
That's true.
You have a house.
You have it all.
You have money.
That's true.
And you are enjoying it.
We were enjoying
Two
life.
of you.
Exactly. It was just the two of us. It was just the two of us. I'm telling you, I must admit, even my wife can attest to this. I think the first years of our marriage, wow, we were happy. We thought we were happy. We had everything.
Yeah, you were happy.
We were happy
and wild.
Happy and wild. I mean,
you know
could,
when you have two of you.
That's
only,
right.
there's not so many people.
That's right.
You become wild.
That's right.
I'm talking not in the wrong way.
That's true.
In a happy way.
That's true. That's true.
Yes.
And so over the years, our lifestyle, we were happy. We had everything. I mean, we loved our lifestyle. But over the years, because we said, you know what, we're still young. Let's enjoy. We'll have children later. And it's when we now wanted to have children that we realized that, wow, what's going around here? And that is where the journey began, where we started to try and have children, and we're having problems, we're having issues. I don't want to give much away, man of God. I know you're excited for me to talk, but I don't want to give much away.
It's important.
That's true.
No, it's important to give to explain.
That's right.
Where we're talking about you having children, you having an issue, because that is the most. Because we cannot narrate the whole book.
No, we can't.
But,
that's true.
But people there, they want to really know what is the issue, or what is the main thing behind this book.
All right.
Yeah.
So the main thing, the driving force, as I said, man of God, it was around us struggling to have children. So over the years, when we decided that we wanted to have children, things were not happening. We tried for years. We tried, and things were not going as we expected.
Just stop there for a minute.
Uh-huh.
When you say for years, how many years?
10 years we tried.
10 years.
10 years we tried to have children.
I'm going to ask you some very important questions.
That's true.
And this question, I believe, they are very fundamental in any relationship, and especially in any stable marriage.
Yeah.
Now, when, I want to take you back again.
Okay.
And those who are important, those who are answers, you'll find some of them inside here. But these are very, very important. Now, I'm going to ask you a very private question, but it's important because, in this book is the tears of a husband.
That's true.
We're talking about there. Did you, I'm trying to picture this. I'm picturing you, your wife, the way I know you. I mean, you are my umbrella, you're my Joshua, so I know you.
That's right.
That's why sometimes I like traveling with you, because you're very, when I travel with you internationally, when I travel, I like going with you, because you are up to beat. When I say up to beat, I mean, you're talking about every journey. We have traveled quite a lot in the world.
Israel, everywhere.
And that is why every time when I want to travel, I always ask you first. Because when I'm with you, it's going to be lively, lovely, joyful. You have a way of making the day go, nice and everything. And I love that. No, I'm being honest. No,
that's good to know. No.
I'm just being honest.
That's good.
This one is really honest. I've never told you, but I love it, because when I'm with you, not because whatever it is, but you have a way of you know when I do you have a way of, Bishop, for me, I am, hey, I'm the man of God, whatever it is. Him is my Joshua. He says, man of God, look, there's sunlight here. You get to the balcony. You may never see you may not see this vitamin D. You need it now. Man of God, there's a beach down there. I've already gone and checked the beach. And I realize the beach is clear, it's all safe, there's no sharks, there's no whatever it is. Man of God, please go over there and stretch up yourself, get a swim. And I thank you for that. You are always out there. Please, don't get me wrong, but it's good because it plays a big part in this book.
It does.
I know your name is Abraham, but I have another name for you.
So many
Not
questions.
just Joshua, but I call you Mr. Joy.
Wow.
Because you do. So now I can picture you, you, your wife, you are married couple. I'm talking about, I can see like what you said in the happy days in your marriage. You're so happy because it's jolly. And I know your wife, she's amazing.
It's very woman, amazing, yes.
And you and her, you kind of click.
That's true.
You're kind of fun people. People like having fun.
That's true.
People like, excitement. I've seen that. I've even seen you people, the way you dance. I've seen a couple of times the way you dance and everything. You can see these people,
Yeah, we do get along.
They roll like a beetle. I'm talking about here and there. But, you see, I'm going to ask you a question now. I need you to be honest with me. Did you and your wife, plan This is very important. I'm going to ask you. It's a very sensitive question, and I know people waiting there. Did you and your wife plan to say, okay, we're going to enjoy for these years, and after these years, then we'll start now trying to make a family? Did you sit down and discuss that?
No, we never really sat down and discussed. I think it was just the way life was. We were young, we were vibrant, and we were just enjoying life. We never thought much about it. We just enjoyed life, going out, spending money. We'd go on holidays. We'd go on a holiday or two once, a holiday or two every year, and we're having fun. But then it's amazing when you say that. It is when people began to talk, that is when we realized, okay, I think now.
And you know why I ask you that?
That's why, sir?
That is what brings the tears to the husband. Because you see, and that's one of the things this book addresses. If you are there right now, this book addresses one vital information. It's very important for you to know how to discuss and plan things.
That's true.
Because you see, the Bible says, where there is no vision, people will
That's
perish.
true.
Because what happened, because of lack of planning,
That's true.
lack of
There was no vision.
there was no vision, then it is forced. So when people came in and they start talking, I'm talking about now, because we're going to go to the culture, we're going to go to everything, because see, this is very interesting, because this is what happened as a young couple. When you start things, you need to have your plans ready.
That's true.
And this is one of the things that miss. And there's many people right now that are there, because I'm going to ask you another very sensitive question. And then when I ask that sensitive question, it's very, very sensitive. This one actually is very, very sensitive. So at the end of the day, your wife has to do what she needs to do. And for example, you have to do what you need to do to make sure that she doesn't get pregnant.
That's true.
Because at the moment you're enjoying yourself.
That's right.
But there was no plan. And that's the reason why you really need to get this book. If you are there right now, you're watching this, either you're a man or a woman, this book is not just about men, but it's ability for you to be able to make sure that you don't miss that moment.
That's true.
You see, there is a timeline that God has provided for you. So because you are just enjoying, you didn't even think about it.
No, we never thought about it.
But at the end of the day, people, it is people.
That's true.
And this is where the worst thing happens.
That's right.
Because you see, when people come, and it's like at the end of the day, the wall that was around your marriage, it's gone.
It's gone.
Now you're having people intruding from every side.
That's true.
And they start putting you pressure here and there. Now, I'm going to ask you another question.
That's right.
And this question is very sensitive. And did you plan, you and your wife, to use some contraceptives?
Wow,
you are not expecting that, do you?
I was not expecting
that
question, but it's a very important question.
No, because we're talking about you having fun.
That's right.
We're talking about you're having fun. We're talking about whatever it is. Did you plan? Did you plan to use contraceptives? Did you plan? I'm just asking. I know you never expect, but guess what? Because in this book it addresses.
That's true.
We're talking about planning. We're talking about this book because at the end of the day, sometimes you can have people giving you all type of ideas and everything.
That's right.
Answer that question, please.
And I think it's one of those questions that I wasn't expecting, but this kind of question kind of draws me back to that time. And I think as we were going through that process, it kind of masked what was going on. We did use contraceptive at that time because we were saying, you know what, we are not ready for that. We are not ready to have children. If we have children now, we are not ready. We need to have our careers. We need to do this. We need to do, and so we use that. We used a lot of contraceptive, and I think deep down we never knew. If we knew then, we always speak with my wife and say, if we knew what we know now, then we would have done things differently. And one of the things that you spoke about just now, about having a vision, about talking down, and I speak about it in this book.
And that's one of the most key things
I speak about
in
it
this
in the book
because it helps you
That's right.
To stop taking things for granted.
That's
because
right.
the issue here is you get married, you assume every day.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, watch here now, there are some things that we end up doing with our own knowledge. And it's amazing that you say that you didn't never even discuss about it.
No.
You never discuss about it. You already have a house. Yeah. You already have money. You drive a nice car, whatever it is, but there is no vision.
There was no vision.
Family vision.
There was no family vision. No.
How far are we going to hold this camp?
That's true.
When are we going to get whatever it is?
That's
yes,
true.
And I'm glad about that. Now, so if you're there right now, I want to encourage you. Please, you need this book. You need this book. Because that day, during that time, the lion in the house did not see the vision. And that's why, that is why I like the picture, because it looks as if this lion has seen something, like what you said.
Mm-hmm.
If I'd known then.
And that's exactly what the lion is.
If I had known then,
exactly,
I would have done things differently.
Exactly.
You are there right now. You are watching this. I want you right now to take a minute or two. I want you to share with friends wherever they are right now, because we're having serious talks here. You can hear right now I'm dropping real questions that are coming in where that is concerned. But because the reason I want to say here is because the reason why I ask about the contraception, because already, not just because I'm a prophet, but I can feel in my spirit, some people say, oh, this could have been as a result maybe of contraceptions. And that's just what we're gonna find actually is even more than that. It's got nothing to do with that.
That's right.
Because you could say, okay, they were busy enjoying. So I am trying to get somebody there to understand, because there's deeper meaning. Because actually, with contraception or without no contraception, still the issue was same.
That's true.
You see, still the issue was same. Because I can hear somebody wants to ask a question. He's asking what type of contraceptives were there. I don't know if you want to tell us. Somebody's asking what type of contraceptive did your wife use? Please, which one was it? They want to ask if it's an implant. They want to know if it's injection. They want to know if either it's pills.
We will save that one for the book.
Yes, it's actually somebody else wants to know. They want to ask, what about you, Pastor Brian? Did you use any contraceptions at all? We are having no. People are asking.
No, this is why I loved when you invited me to have this book launch. And one thing I like about this book launch, I didn't say in the beginning, it's got this intimate feel. I mean, I've never seen any type of book launch like this where there's that personal intimacy in the conversation, and that's exactly what I was actually looking for. And I'm glad that I came, and especially those questions. Those are very important questions. I remember when I was writing the book, there were so many things that I was reflecting on that if only I had asked. Sometimes when we have questions in our minds, you think, no, that's a silly question. If I ask this, that's a silly question. And because of this platform, you've been able to give people the opportunity to ask questions. Somebody out there might be going through or what I went through, but they're not having that courage to ask that question. So I thank you for giving me this opportunity to come here on your platform to have this intimate discussion as I launch this book. I mean, with regards to the question about the contraceptive, that's another question I was not expecting.
And but they can find that one.
There's going to be loads of information in the book.
But we'll talk about. We'll come back again to that later. Those who are watching us will come back. I know many of you are pressing for it, especially women. There's a lot of ladies that are asking this question.
That's right.
Not you as which one you use contraceptive, but they are asking which one did your wife use, because I think some of them are worried.
Okay.
There's a lot of worries going around, Pastor, as I speak to you right now. Many women, because I know now as I speak right now, there are many that are really, really worried. That am I making the same mistake?
That's right.
What could it be, whatever it is. But we'll talk about that.
That's
because we address that issue. We'll find out we'll find out that what was the real issue.
That's right.
What was the real issue, especially what was the real issue, especially. So thank you so much, everybody. And yes, and I can see that actually there are many people that are really worried.
That's right.
Pastor, they are really worried about this whole issue about contraception. And thank you for allowing me to ask you that question.
That's all right.
And they want to know about it. They want to know what. So we're going to address that matter. That some of them are reminding me. They're saying, and yes, I can see some other people they're trying to suggest. Don't worry, Katerina. Don't worry, we'll get back to you.
That's right.
Where you are concerned. Thank you so much. Yes. So now, we were talking about this issue. So you talked about for 10 years.
10 years.
So I want to now pre-forward it now. So we're talking about these 10 years. We're talking not contraceptive now.
That's right.
So we're talking about 10 years of not having any contraceptives.
That's right.
I'm talking about 10 years of getting a green light.
That's right.
That your wife is okay. 10 years of you getting a green light. I'm talking about this 10 years we're talking about that you were believing, no, you were searching, you wanted to start a family,
yes,
to have children, but nothing was appearing. We're talking about 10 years. So these are clean 10 years.
That's right.
So we're talking about your wife. She's not on contraceptives.
That's right.
You're not on contraceptive. Wherever it is, where that is concerned. So we're talking about here is now there you are ready to start a family. You are ready to, your wife is ready. So I'm going to ask you the next question, which is quite very important. Why did you decide to now, what made you think, or what made you that point right now to say, let's stop having fun now. And now let's start building up a family. What was it? What I want to know. I don't want to use the word 3 or 4, but I want to say what really made you to come to that decision. Is it both of you, or is it you, or what really happened? Or is it her who started putting pressure on you, or is it you put pressure on her, or is it you one day you just woke up, you saw children running, going to nursery school, you say, one thing I can have this. What really happened?
I think a lot. There were a lot of signs. I guess sometimes you don't see those telltale signs that you're ready. But for us, like I said, I come from Africa. My wife comes from Africa. We're both from Zimbabwe, and culture also played a very important part in us saying, I think we're ready. Because what culture tends to do and tell us is when you get married, even before the year ends, your wife should be pregnant. So already by us prolonging that that phase of we've got married, now we need to have kids within the first year, already we were under that pressure. Unknowingly we were under that pressure. So as people then started to talk, our family members, our parents all have a saying, all parents, and I mean this goes to every parent, you always want to hold your children's children. You always want to hold your grandchildren. So there was that talk. My parents used to send my younger sisters to kind of prompt. There were ways they used to ask us, and you're like, we're not. Don't worry, we're not ready. But people started to ask questions. Friends would ask questions. I remember there's a chapter in the book where there's a particular family member. We went to this one party. This is many years ago. We went to this particular party. I mean, my lifestyle was something else. You can read about my lifestyle.
You are partying.
I used to love.
So wild.
I was wild, and I was wild. Party. And I remember this particular person, because people were walking on eggshells. There came a time when people were walking on eggshells. But I remember them making a song. We were all drunk. So in their drunken stupor, they began to sing a song about, come on, what are you guys waiting for? We're waiting. How long are you going to wait? So it was kind of a song. So those things kind of prompted us, people talking, our friends talking. And the more that was happening and the more the years were moving, we're like, I think we need to start. I think we need to. We're growing older, and we're thinking, I think we need to have kids now. I think, we've kind of enjoyed.
Is it you or her, or I need to get that
It's funny that you say that. I think it was both ways. It was really both. Because I would go to her and say, you know what, guess what my friend was saying, or guess what my sister was saying. We need to start having kids now. You know us, we're not ready yet. We're not ready. She'll probably say the same. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we need to focus on our career. We're not ready yet. But guess what my friend was saying. And then we slowly by
So
slowly.
wait a minute now. For me, what I'm getting, and
That's
that's why
right.
there's something being addressed in that book. So both of you want something, but there is kind of a fear. Yeah, though you're friends, but there is a kind of fear in between.
That's right.
So you're using the influence from outside to try to influence your wife, and the same thing that she's doing.
That's right.
But you don't want to get on the table.
We didn't want. I think deep down we probably each wanted, but because we had already said we're not ready, so it was who was going to go first and say, look, now we're ready. Who was going to go first and say the
You
career?
don't got to say so.
Yeah.
That is why it's so important. If you are there, especially you're a man. If you're there right now, you're a woman. There's one thing that this book addresses the ability. If you are there right now as a man, it's very important for you to be able to make sure that you take a lead, especially
That's right.
in bringing important decisions where your family is concerned.
That's
And
right.
that's one thing I like about this book, because suddenly you realize, that you had left it too late.
That's true.
That's what this book is helping. You realize that you had left it a little bit too late. You were so casual. I'm talking about in your relationship.
That's
and everything else. And I want to share this. If you are there right now, I want to ask you a question, and this question is also very, very important. Now, you're the firstborn in your family.
Yes.
You're the only son.
The only son.
And you are your sisters.
That's right.
Now, your sister were married. They had
They
children.
had kids.
But you did not have.
That's right.
Now, I myself here right now, you're looking at me right now. I am from an African culture. An African culture is and I do respect all the cultures where there is concern.
That's true.
And especially, even for me, I remember when I was growing up, actually at the age of 17, already my mother was on my back. She was already on my back already.
That's right.
Asking me, even when she see a girl, she point, what do you think that one? Even sometimes going over, I'll never forget about this. Going over negotiating. And says, Clement, what do you think about this guy?
Yeah, that's right. That's
have you gone to, have you said hi to her, whatever it is? But the point here is we come from a culture, but especially, this is what you need to understand. If you are the firstborn, and especially you are a man, or if you're the only child or the only son, this is what people don't understand. The pressure.
That's true.
For example, if the younger brother in our culture, same thing where you come from, if they marry before you and have children, automatically that puts you off course.
That's true.
And automatically there is pressure. So I want to know, and I'm going to ask you, please, don't get me wrong.
That's true.
What is here is, how did you bear having your sisters getting married, having children, yet you are the firstborn? I know you've spoken about it.
That's true.
In the book, and it's very painful because now you begin to talk about it, and I like the way you bring it out through the book, because and that brings the transformation of who you are today, not to what you used to be before.
No.
So, because what really happened? What was wrong?
Wow, it's amazing. Even as you were talking, as you can see, I'm just flipping through to one of the chapters that was very important to me. For those of you who are going to get the book, it's chapter 11. It's called Mixed Bag of Emotions. That's where I go deep and really talk about what was happening. It's like the cap has been unleashed. One of the most important things, especially for men, when you're going through a lot of these issues, you're already against the wall, because already culture tells you that be a man, you need to man up, and you need to be handling things, even though when things are going on you can't show emotions. Society, within the family, your wife, you have to man up. So it is very difficult for a man to show their emotions. It is very difficult for a man to lie, to not to lie. Not to lie. No, forget I said that. It's cry. That's why I also chose this cover of a lion crying. You never see a lion crying. You never see a lion expressing, the so-called weak emotions. You never see a lion. A lion is about, you see a lion, it is fearless. You see a lion, you are afraid of it. So when you begin to see a lion, especially with the cover, it is searching. It is
So,
looking in the
yeah,
distance.
so how
That's
did
right.
you hide all this information, emotions?
It was difficult. It was very difficult, and in that chapter we will show you how difficult it was. I began to hide.
To hide.
I began to hide within the emotion. How was I hiding? I began to drink a lot of alcohol. That is where I started to drink a lot. And I mean, I never admitted this, and I never really, at that point in time, I never thought I had a problem with alcohol, but I had a problem with alcohol because I was drinking just to numb the pain,
So,
just to
so you're not
numb the
drinking. You
emotions.
were not drinking for pleasure.
No, it wasn't for
You are
pleasure.
drinking to just to numb the pain.
To numb the pain, to numb the it was about not even numbing the inability to deal with the emotions, but to numb and say, you know what, if I'm in this drunken state, I'm not going to deal with those emotions. If I'm feeling high and irie, I'm not going to deal with these emotions. So I started to drink a lot of alcohol. I used to spend a lot of time away from the house, nightclubs.
So now you're no longer spending time with
I'm
your
not
wife.
spending a
Now
lot
you're
of time
busy partying.
partying. I mean, I used to sometimes, I used to provoke fights so that we don't, so that when you're angry,
So you get angry and just
get
get in the
angry,
car. I'm
you
gone.
drive away, or you go in the next room and you say, I'm sleeping, get your duvet, I'm sleeping in the next room, just to stay away and
So you'll start some issues.
stirring some issues. So just to keep away from dealing with those
And
emotions.
that's what some men will do.
That's true.
That's what some women they'll do. They'll
That's
start a fight.
That's right.
They just want to just get you away.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
So it was very, very difficult to deal with those emotions because remember, I'm coming from a point of view. Number one, I'm a man. So society has told me that I need to act like a man. I need to man up. Society has told me that I need to provide for my family. Society has told me that I need to protect my family. So if I show any form of weakness to the people who I'm supposed to look out for, if I show any emotion, any weakness, that is going to change their perception of me. And that was the whole idea. If I show any emotions, if I cry about this issue of not having children to my wife, if I cry to my wife and say, I'm feeling pain, I don't know what to do, I'm feeling confused. So if I,
So you thought by saying that you're losing your ground.
that's right.
Uh-huh.
So you feel like if you're losing that ground, my wife, my family, people who knew me would feel or think different of me, that I'm weak. How can you say that? How can you do that? So that was more around how I was dealing or not dealing with those emotions. So when you get that book, that mixed bag of emotions chapter, that is going to be very important for you to understand how it encapsulates everything that I went through, that whole journey, and how those emotions caused problems, how those emotions caused issues, how those emotions were also a blocking. It was an obstacle because those emotions sometimes, men of God, they can block you from moving on because you are in fear, you hate, unforgiveness, worry, all those emotions. But it was only when I decided to address, to say, you know what,
Issue.
enough is enough.
Okay, quickly now. People are really, because people will start asking questions, but there are some things that I wanted to be able to share over there quickly right now. So when you started looking or searching for children, what route did you take?
What do you mean? What route did I take?
I mean, now, so what did you do? So I know, obvious,
Okay.
you and your wife, you'll have intimacy,
Yeah.
believe in God, and then suddenly, month after month,
Okay.
I mean, suddenly you realize, because a lot of information over here, you realize that every time you go to them, you check, she's not pregnant.
That's right.
She's not. When did it come to that point? You realize, something is not right.
Man, that was a very difficult time. And again, if you see in the chapter, in the book there, it says a husband's journey through a season of barrenness, when you realize that something is wrong. And it was when I think it was around, I can't give you the exact date, but we when we saw that nothing was happening, I mean, we were trying to have children naturally, and nothing was happening.
So you went to the doctor,
So we
checked
went,
everything.
yeah, we
you got
went
checked. She got
exactly.
checked. Everything is all clear.
So we were checked medically. We went to the medics. We were checked. We were seeing specialists. You know, we were told everything is fine. Go back. Don't worry. Sometimes that's how it is.
They didn't tell you, oh, you need this fertilization. This no. You were perfect.
So they told us everything is fine. So we'll go back, try, and then we'll come back and say, look, we've done everything. Oh no, you might need to change your diet. This. So a lot of things were changed. I mean, then I was deep in alcohol. I was deep, and I was told you need to stop alcohol. You need to start eating healthy. Both of you need to stop doing this exercise. So there's a lot of things
So
that
you're just doing exercise for the baby.
exercise for the baby.
Yes.
Exercise for the baby. I mean, simple things like also increase the frequency in which you are intimate, and I mean, I'm telling you so many things, and we did all that, and still nothing was happening. Faithfully, we did it. Nothing was happening, and then we started to kind of explore the area to say, look, what else can we do? I mean, the medics are saying this, and we started to explore other options. You know, we started to think about, okay, spiritually, you know, we come from Africa. Is there anything else, you know, culturally that can help? We tried that route.
What do you mean you tried that route?
We went. I mean, a few friends and family referred us to like witch doctors to say go and we know this particular one, they will be able to help you. They know their trade, they know their business. You know, we flew out to Zimbabwe. We, you know, consulted. All they'll tell you.
So you flew from here.
Yeah, we flew.
Bought a ticket.
Bought a ticket. Yeah.
I'm talking about now because you've done all what the doctors have said,
and nothing
is not working.
Yeah.
So and then you got a few friends telling you, know, one thing. We know this particular witch doctor.
That's true.
They know their trade. They don't get it wrong.
That's true.
You know, you bought a ticket.
Bought tickets.
Flew from here.
2 tickets. That's true.
Twice.
No, me. Yeah.
Your wife. Yeah. You went over there. You went to the witch doctor. You know, took you all through the process, and then what happened?
All they'll tell you is, I can see the baby there. I can see the baby there. You do this, do that, and it's funny. Again, there's a chapter in there that,
and I like that chapter. Especially, I love that chapter, especially dealing, you know, where they say that they keep saying, I can see the baby there, they can see the baby there. But the point here is, you can see the baby there, then where is the baby?
Where is the baby?
Because it's going years.
Yeah, and that chapter is called, I think it's called Desperate Times. It's called Desperate Times.
And I'm glad that you are open up, because you see, what people that are watching this, there's something that you need to pay attention. Remember that time, Pastor Brian, he was not born again.
No, I was not born again yet.
You know, he was not born again, and you did not know God as your personal Savior.
No.
You and your wife, you did not know that. And I understand, because sometimes what we need to understand, that every decision that we make, listen to me, every decision that we make,
that's true.
99. Listen to me, every decision we make, 99%. 99% every 99% of listen to me 99% of every decision that we make is direct or indirect right now affected by our spiritual conviction.
That's true.
And what people need to know at that time, you were not a Christian.
No.
You know, you are Christian by going to church, but not born again.
Not born again.
And your spiritual conviction, it has to do with talking about your traditions.
That's true.
Where you come from. You see, this is what you need to understand. So at the end of it, was not hard for you to fly from here.
That's true.
To go to whatever you went to seek spiritual help, because at the end of the day, that's what you've been brought up knowing.
That's true.
That is why when I see people, and I see people sometimes, they are so hard on themselves. As this man of God, if I'd known you, for example, 10 years ago, 3 years ago,
that's right.
You know, as it's no, then I would never have gone to the, as it's then, it's then. Because you see, this is how you've been brought up.
That's true.
This is how you have been. This is your culture. You know, if you're out there right now, there are many people with different ways. Some of them will go to read crystal balls, others go to see sorcerers, whatever it is, palm readers, because that is what you knew up to then.
That's true.
But now you know something better.
That's right.
And so you went even to different places. We
went and did a lot of stuff, and nothing came of it. We always flew back. Also, we tried different spiritual stuff in terms of like other churches. There was one particular, very obviously, we are not able to mention names, but a very, very big a prophet based in, I won't mention any names or countries.
No, you can mention countries. People want to know.
Very, very big man of God in Nigeria, where we were actually, before we flew out to Zimbabwe, we were actually trying to finalize to fly out there
To go to
to go
Nigeria.
there because we had heard that he's able to help people. Many, you know how it is when you hear people have been, this person has gone, this person has gone there, and they were able to, and we were able to, we nearly went, and but still we're not finding any solution. Came back to the doctors, the specialist,
So from which doctor?
which
Now you
doctor
came back to doctors
came
again.
back to doctors again, and they were having a discussion up to about IVF. I mean, for those who don't know, it's well, it's IVF, artificial, it's artificial
Fertilization
infertility,
treatment.
yeah. And it was just a crazy period for us. A lot of things were going on, and I think towards the tail end of that period of time, my marriage was shaken, and we will talk more about
And
that.
it is there, and it's
And
very serious.
it
So now the
was,
foundation is shaking
the
because now
foundation is shaken.
everybody's looking for a blame game.
That's right.
Everybody's within you and your wife. Every
That's
one of
right.
you is looking for a blame game.
That's right.
One is trying to hold the tent.
That's right.
The other one wants to jump out of the tent.
That's right.
And then with all this pressure that are coming on, and with all this going around everywhere else, whatever
That's right.
it is, causing a lot of things. Yeah, go
That's
on.
right. So in the end, we went back to them, and they were telling us, "Oh, we don't even know what's going on. Test us again. Test us again." They'll test us. We went through even more evasive procedures. I mean, one procedure there that my wife went through, where they had to, just put some dye in her ovaries to see how things were, and they were working fine. I went through a lot of evasive procedures, and it all came out. Listen, everything is fine. We have no idea. 10 years later, we have no idea why you can't have children, and
Even the doctors are baffled.
they were baffled. They were baffled, and it was so amazing. And for me, when I was writing it in this book, it brought a lot of emotion because I was thinking back during that time. I was able to kind of identify that, I was not in a good place. And if I had not sought help, if I had not sought not just any help, that is why, especially in the book, I talk
And
about.
I like that, not
Yeah,
any help.
it's not about any
Because
help.
you are searching help
Exactly. Everywhere.
And the more you are searching that help, the more things go deeper
Exactly.
and go worse.
Exactly.
Now, quickly right now, because
Exactly.
people are really excited. Many of them, they want to receive this copy
That's
of
right.
this book that is there. And actually, it's very, very important for us to be able to make sure that you get this copy. We'll also actually, this book copy, we're going even to have it in our own bookstore.
That's right.
We're going to load it as soon as possible on our own online bookstore.
Amen.
For those who are not able to get it, remember, you can be able to order it on our online bookstore, and we can be able to get it delivered to you as soon as possible.
That's
Those
right.
who want. So now we have heard all that story. When did the miracle take place, or what really happened? What changed all this?
That was amazing, man of God.
This
That's
is what people now, they've heard all that stuff. Now they want to know now. You've been to the witch doctors.
Yes.
You went back to the doctors.
That's right.
You wanted to go to Nigeria.
That's
You
right.
came back to Great Britain.
That-
So now what we want to know now. Now tell us right now, because we want to get this book right now.
That's right.
What really happened?
There's chapter 9 that is called Diamond in the Rough. And in that chapter, I go through how God just began to move for me. In prior chapters, I detail like I said, it's a journey, man of God. It's so difficult to talk about this unless you talk about that, because the journey that I went through, it was so amazing. But as I talk about that in chapter 9, Diamond in the Rough, it begins to show how God moved for me. Then I was now moving with God. I had made an active choice that, you know what, I want to be born again. God, I've got this problem, so help me. I came to church because of problem.
And I remember the way you got born again was so strange.
And I talk about it
No
there.
one has ever been born again the way you got born again. Because I can tell you this, those who are watching right now, the man followed his wife to church.
That's right.
Yeah, and when he was sitting there by the church, then it was so amazing.
That's
Because
right.
I can tell you this, because that one I know.
That's right.
I saw this, this family that have been coming. He was not there. It was your mother, your mother,
Yes.
and your sister,
And my sister.
yeah, and your wife. And then there you are sitting there.
That's right.
And all what I went, I laid a hand on this gentleman, one hand like this. The guy went on the floor.
That's right.
And he began to shake.
That's right.
Not for 1 hour, not for 2 hours. All night he was shaking and removing forms were coming out of his mouth.
That's right. And man of God, that particular incident, I talk about it in the book. that was the defining moment for me.
Mm.
It was so defining in that I needed to be in a house, but not in an ordinary house, but in this house, because there was a power. For me, when that happened, I said there's a power that is in this house. I don't know what kind of
You are a
power.
lion. You are a strong man.
That's right.
But you come to church.
That's right.
I lay my hand on you.
You laid your hands. And
What happened?
And remember, we've had this discussion many times when
Yeah,
I used
I
to
know.
tell you that I used to think and see, when people are being prayed for, I used to think these pastors are pushing people down and these people are faking to fall down. But I had no idea that God had other ideas for me. When I came, when you laid my hands on me, I don't know how I ended up on the floor, shaking. It was like a feeling. I don't know. It's like a feeling like you're being electrocuted, but it's not painful. It's so surreal. The feeling, you can't control yourself. I was drooling. I was foaming through the mouth. I was just shaking uncontrollably. I couldn't. And I remember my mother was so worried. You told her, leave him. But then she ended up breaking through the pastors and then tapping me. She calls me B. That's the name that she calls me. B, are you okay? And then I kind of came to. I said, no, I need to come back. I need to come back.
Because you've never felt power like that before.
I have never. I said there's a power. There's something. We came back on the Saturday. This is a Friday evening, the evening into Deliverance. We used to have the 3 a.m. Deliverance. And then the Saturday I came back. We used to have the Saturday service. I said, I experienced something on Friday. I need to know what it was. I came back on the Saturday with my wife. She was surprised because I said, let's go to church. She says, what? I said, let's go to. She said, oh, okay, I'm going. Let's go. Saturday we come here. I'm expecting. Guess what? Nothing happened. I said, what is going around here? But there was something that had already been stirred inside. I said, Sunday, we're going to church. She said, what? I said, listen, Sunday, we're going to church. We came back on the Sunday. Lord, behold, something happened again. I remember the man of God this time, people were waiting. You know how people praise and worship is going on. The praise and worship is singing. There was this. I was one of those people who liked being at the back in anything, any event, anything. Want to be at the back. I don't open my mouth. I don't dance. I just relax. I got my jeans on. I used to dress good. I still do, but man, I used to like my jeans and my trainers and my tight t-shirts when I used to be able to wear tight t-shirts then. And that Sunday, I don't know, something rose me up from the seat and I was just dancing. My wife was surprised. I began to dance. Eventually the man of God came through, and before he could even touch me, he came through and started just to lay hands on people. Before he even touched me, he just lifted his hands like this. I fell down. Again, this power just began to work on me. And I remember buying the DVD. I was on the floor there for 1.5 hours.
1.5 hours.
I could not stand up. I remember one time I stood up. It's like I was drunk. I just stumbled and looked. I could not understand. Fell back down again. Started shaking uncontrollably. But it was after that I said, you know what? There's something good that has happened to me. Something was different about me. Went back home after that. Threw away all my liquor, all my alcohol that I had. I knew that something had changed. I wanted to be in this house. But I could not understand what was happening. I knew God growing up, but it was a journey that I had to take through. So that experience for me changed. As I talk about it in the book, it begins to tell you how then, after going through prayers, we started to come to church.
And then I had to put you
on
through
Deliverance.
Special deliverance.
Yes.
6 months.
It was 6 months.
Deliverance.
Yes.
Prayer and fasting.
That's right.
What happened?
We went through those deliverance sections. We came. I think I used
and
to come.
Live far away.
We live far.
You're coming every Monday. You're coming every Friday.
We're coming 5 days a week.
5 days a week.
Then we used to have services. I was here 5 days a week.
Yeah.
5 days a week here. Prayer, deliverance, confessing the word. We were coming and we finished on. And as soon as we finished, it didn't take even a year. Within the year, we got pregnant. And we were like, what? And during all this time, we're just not coming for the sake of coming. We began to develop a relationship with God. Because for me, The most important
And
thing.
I like the way
Yeah.
you explain, because faith without action is dead.
That's right.
I like the way that you and your wife, you start putting your faith into action.
That's right.
You faithfully did the deliverance.
That's right.
You're traveling
We were traveling
over
far.
hundreds of miles
That's right.
to be here. You did it faithfully.
We did it faithfully. For months, for years, we've been doing it faithfully. And for me, like I was saying, man of God, it came to a point where anything that I do, for me, it is about God. And that is what I begin to show in this book. It is not by my might, but it is by God. I had to make the decision. The most important thing was for me to make a decision to say, I have surrendered. I've tried everything that I can do. I've done it all, but nothing has come to pass. So now I need to believe and trust in this other person, this God. And I trusted him. And God, after those 6 months, just before a year, we had a testimony.
And I remember there was a prophecy.
That's right.
About where you and your wife is concerned. And in that prophecy, it took less than 2-3 months.
That's right.
And the miracle took place.
That's right.
And you had your first child.
We had our first Samuel. First child
is a boy.
He's a boy named Samuel Taona, and amazing young boy. He turned 8 actually on Tuesday.
Wow.
He's now 8 years old. Just to let you know that this God that we serve, he turned 8, and he's the reason that God enabled me to start writing about this testimony, because I started to write this book, Men of God, 2012, and then I stopped for many years. And then God just put it in my spirit again through discussions with you. I was unsettled, and you said, why don't you continue that book, boy? You've been procrastinating for a long time, and God just brought it to manifestation.
And it's amazing, because where your firstborn is concerned is actually a prophetic child.
Amen.
Because there were things that which you did, and you explaining them so deep. We're not going to disclose them.
That's right.
But there are some very powerful fundamental things that everyone should know.
That's
and
right.
It applies to every situation.
That's right.
And with that prophecy, you and your wife did something, serious obedience. And as a result of it, God blessed you.
Amen.
She conceived. And actually, like in this book, it tells you the process.
That's true.
How you discovered that she was pregnant.
That's right.
The shock that you went through.
It's amazing.
The tears of
That's
joy
right.
and everything else.
That's right.
Then, after Samuel came, then suddenly, I think I told you something. What did I tell you?
I remember this. I don't think I put that excerpt in the book, but I think I summarized it. I remember I think we were doing something. We had just moved to this church. I can't remember where we were. We had gone somewhere to buy some building material. We had parked somewhere at McDonald's, and we were in the truck. And then we were talking. I said, you know what, man of God, what about these children? And you said, look, when God opens, He's opened. So, have children. You need to have one after the other. And, we said, okay, if that's the will of God. And soon after Samuel came, we had David. And we were, it's funny that Samuel, you told us plainly, no, not saying, okay, let me pray about it. God has shown me that it is a boy. There was no question there.
Because I saw it
very clear. And we were so obedient. We started to buy our clothes for the boy. We were sowing seed by faith. And the boy came. And then we came to you again and said, so I think we are believing God now for another one. We want a girl. And then I only reflected later when I went for the scan for the second born. We said we want a girl, a man of God. And then you just smiled and say whatever God says. But that particular time, you didn't. It's like you knew, but you were saying, listen, whatever God gives you. It's like you knew. So when we went for the scan and then we told you, it's a boy, you said, no, I already knew that it was a boy. But you were so expectant for a child, for a girl. But I already knew. But God has blessed you. Your daughter will come. And Lord, behold, our daughter came. So I've got 3 children. Samuel Taona, who is 8, David Tatenda, who is 6, and Tayomi Jemima, who is 4 going to 5. So those are the greatest miracles that enabled me to write through the pain
and
to write this book.
You begin to describe, especially about other things that are so important about aside being now a father.
That's right.
I love that chapter.
That's right.
But also you also describe things about your wife now being a mother.
That's right.
Adjusting to that situation.
That's right.
And if you are there right now, you are a mother. If you are there right now, you are a father, or you want to be, you need to, because there are some things I had to talk to you about. And it's very important because you laid them somehow, somewhere in this book. We're talking about, because I'm your bishop, and sometimes I have to mentor him on the children. I'm talking when they're coming. I say, this is how you deal with them.
That's
this
right.
is how you,
That's right.
You need, and he talks about it. It's very, very important. If you're there right now, you're a man. If you're there right now, you're first-time father or second-time father. You can't be a father, but you don't know how to be. You need a mentor. It's very important.
That's right.
And we spend quite a great deal learning children behavior.
That's right.
We talk about it. And I like the way you begin to prepare it in this book, because you lay it as a foundation. The important, especially where mentorship is concerned. You need a mentor. Even where your wife is concerned, she's the woman of God.
That's right.
Dr. Jennifer as her mentor.
That's right.
Where that is concerned. And we do really appreciate and we do really especially want to appreciate two most important people. Number one, I want to be able to appreciate your wife.
Amen.
Because she's played a big part into this. I want also be able to appreciate my wife, Dr. Jennifer.
That's right.
Who also she's played part into it, especially with the mentorship and everything. And one of the most interesting that you hear the tears of her husband is very, very important, because suddenly, when the miracle came, and everything, you started now, and it's amazing to see. Your children are brilliant. They are blessed.
That's right.
The favor of God is upon their life.
It's all upon their life.
But one thing I like about you, Pastor Brian, when I look at the tears of your husband, you're a man that you ask questions. And when I look throughout this book, I begin to see you were asking questions since in the beginning. But the only way in the beginning, you were asking questions in the wrong places.
That's right.
Until you found the right places.
That's right.
My father used to tell me that asking question is not foolishness, but not asking question is stupidness.
That's right.
So
that's right.
You ask, and that's one of the things that I found where you're concerned. So now, Pastor Brian, before we go any more further, we have some questions.
So we've got some questions.
There are questions that people want to ask right now quickly, because we want right now to launch the book.
Amen.
And if you're there right now, you can get the copy. We're also going to have a link that will be available for you. If you're there right now that you're watching, we're going to have it on our online bookstore. It's going to be available in the next 2-3 minutes. But also,
and they can also go on my social media.
Yeah, social media. There's a link in there.
Just go there. Inbox me or inbox the team.
Yes.
They're going to be connecting you.
You can also inbox me. Those who are watching me from my Bishop Clement Weissman, you can also inbox me in there, and I will be able to make sure that we connect you with Pastor Brian. We have some questions, and the questions are here.
Wow!
And the questions are so interesting that I want you to know that. And it's important thing. Remember, when we sat down here. I want to say that when we sat down here, when we sat down here, we were talking. This was before the camera came. I say, I've got a surprise for you.
That's right.
Remember that?
Yes, I remember you said that.
And what did I tell you the surprise is?
You said it's about the movie.
What?
About bringing this book into a movie.
This book needs to be done into a movie.
Hallelujah, glory.
I spoke to him over here.
That's right.
We need to see how we can really, because it's a nice, powerful, emotional story.
Amen.
Yes, we have questions.
All right.
So, Pastor Brian,
yes.
The first question that's come through, I'm guessing this is actually coming from ladies.
Okay.
So, being an African man from an African culture, did you blame your wife regarding this entire situation?
I can unequivocally say yes. I did blame, like I said before, being an African man, we that's how we are tailored. That's how we are tailored. That's how we grow up as. I can't speak for other cultures, or I can't speak for other African cultures, but for me, from how I grew up in my household as a young African man from Zimbabwe, from Murewa to be exact, that's what was drummed into us as men. Nothing's wrong with you. Nothing is ever wrong with you. Even if you're going through challenges like that, it's never your fault. It's your wife's fault. And when you read the statistics, when you begin to do your research, which I did a lot of research into this issue, I began to see, especially where I come from, wives were thrown out of marriages, wives were divorced, wives were battered, wives sometimes were killed because the husband and their family thought they were the problem stopping them from having children. But yet, when that husband went to a wife, still the same issue, still the same issue. So there comes a point in time, which I address in that book. There comes a point in time where you have to ask that important question: can it be me? But the issue that I had with asking myself that question is, then what? Society has kind of painted me or told me that I cannot be weak. It cannot be me. That was the issue. It can't be me. It cannot. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, I used to blame my wife so many times. Yeah.
And so, and just to add on top of that question, so did you use that blaming as a source to cause issue at home?
Sometimes,
so
yes.
you can go away for partying, drinking, sleep the next room.
Sometimes I would. Sometimes it would be direct. Sometimes it would be in a subtle way. You'd say something that she will connect and say, "Oh," but yeah, sometimes I would.
And now one more question: have you ever apologized for that?
Yes, I've apologized for that. We've actually sat down and this was many years ago, and we said, whatever happened in the past, whatever I've said,
because when you look at the joy that is before
the
you,
joy before, and that's so amazing. Before you ask the next question, there's a chapter I dedicate to my wife in this book. Very, very great chapter. I love that chapter. I laid bare. I nearly lost my wife, but I'm not going to say much. I want you to get the book and find out how I appreciate it, because it's always good, like you said, man of God. So in that chapter, it's a chapter that I dedicated to her, and just to say, I thank you for what you have done for me. You've taken me, you've removed that shame out of my life. So
because because I like when you read that book, it was very painful.
It's very painful.
It's if God was not into this marriage,
that's right,
it could have been over. But we thank God for that. So
that's
it's a very interesting, very sensitive chapter, but it's a chapter that is very honest.
That's true.
Very, very honest. But it will help you.
Amen.
It will help you. Yes.
So the next question is a question that a lot of people have been asking.
Okay.
And that question is, do you have anybody that you were able to speak to and express your emotions and express your feelings throughout this time that you were going through? And, somebody that you could turn to prior to you coming to the ministry, obviously, and getting Archbishop as your mentor?
I didn't have. I mean, obviously, culture plays an important part. It did then in my life, where again I take you back to that statement of being a man. I grew up, and I suppose all young men grow up not being able to go to their fathers to talk about some of these things. You are maybe referred to as specific uncle, their uncles, but it's not the same. Like talking to your father, and just like all those other young African men, I had issues. I mean, I mentioned briefly about the difficult relationship that I had with my dad, which improved.
This is very important if you're listening to this, and that's a chapter I did not want to discuss about it because I wanted them to discover it in the book.
Yeah,
actually, I was there and I saw it.
That's right.
And you see, when you say that, did he have anybody to talk to? You can have buddies you can discuss, but they don't give you good advice.
That's right.
These are just friends. But you need to understand, because of the culture setup, Pastor Brian, and because of other things that had happened within his family, had caused him to be hurt.
That's right.
And because of that, him and his father, he was there, but there was no connection. Actually, it's just recently.
Yeah.
Through the grace of God,
that's right,
they were able to bond together.
Yeah.
So can you imagine, his father was there, it's hi, how are you doing? Fine, good, whatever it is. It's when I discovered, we were talking to him. Actually, it was during one of the service.
That's right.
It was during one of the church service here, the frankincense.
Frankincense,
it was frankincense miracle service, where the Spirit of God lifted that anger,
that burden,
and bitterness
that's right,
that he had towards his father.
That's right.
And he poured it before God.
That's right.
And immediately, him and his father, they became like this.
That's right.
And if you are there right now, you're struggling with issue, especially with your parents, family members, whatever it is, there is a special chapter in this book that can help you to reconcile with yourself and reconcile with those people. So with that, I can say here is, with that, as before, he did not have anybody. Because, for example, the way the culture is, but not only that, many men, they don't seek that help.
That's right.
But after, when he got born again and everything, he did seek help.
That's right.
I did guide him, direct him, and through all this process, there have been a lot of healings taking place. There have been a lot of favor taking place.
Yes, and I think even before that, there's a chapter, because there's a great friend of mine, man of God, who during all this, before I even was born again, before I came to church, there's chapter 5 of that book, which kind of answers your question about did I have anyone. Eventually, I got to find out through opening up, because the issue was about opening up.
Yes.
So eventually I had the opportunity to connect with a great friend of mine. He's still a good friend. He's still a brother of mine, who kind of allowed me to start talking, and I laid it bare. But chapter 5 is going to be great for you to read. But post that, I got so much support from the men of God, and that was amazing. Yes.
Amen. Amen, Pastor. Thank you so much for your honesty and congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, since you've been so honest with the build-up of the disappointments that you were going through with regards to your wife getting pregnant.
Yes.
Now, I know there's many people that are listening that are probably in the same situation and would be very grateful if you answer this question.
Yes.
Explain the feeling month by month by month. You mentioned 10 years of this. Right. I mean, going through, obviously, like you'd most probably have been trying during your wife's ovulation period and testing each month. Explain to us the feeling each month to month, the frustration going through. I mean, we're talking about 120 months of this.
Wow.
Month after month, and at what point did you sort of, like, was there any time that you decided, you know what, enough is enough, I cannot go through this pain anymore, disappointment, frustration anymore?
Wow, that is a very deep question. I mean, for you to quantify that, it shows you that that's a very deep question. 120 months, that's a lot, and that is a lot. And I talk about that. It would be great for you to read. There's a chapter that I mentioned called Mixed Bag of Emotions. That one, it plots the journey of the emotion. Many times I gave up. I said, that's it. I can't go on this roller coaster. There's a phrase I use in that book called turmoil, emotional turmoil.
Especially in that book, I know I can just say this in some few chapters. I see some of it is very painful, because in that book, one of the things that you say, one of the chapter I followed through is when your wife is she'll miss 1 or 2 weeks, and there is a build up.
That's right.
There's a build up.
That's right.
She'll miss a period for 1-2 weeks. And then there's this build up of expectation.
That's right.
And as soon as you build up,
that's right,
then she tells you that she's had a period.
It's not, yeah. So it's the only way I can explain it to you is it's a mixed bag of emotions. I don't want to give away a lot, but it's like you get a bag of fruits, mixed fruits, and you open the cap and you go in there, you take one, you eat one. Oh, this is sweet. The next time you go back into that bag of sweets, you don't know which one. You might get the sour one. So that's what was happening. 1 minute, my emotions are, wow, you know what I'm expecting, like what the man of God is saying. Wow, it's going to be. And then, no. So disappointment, fear, giving up, hatred and bitterness. Those were like a roller coaster. It's like an emotional roller coaster.
But also, one of the things which I like about this book is the way after you got born again.
That's right.
After you provide this tunnel.
That's right.
Where everybody can walk through.
My God.
So if you are there, you've been experiencing emotional bag of what you call it?
A mixed bag of emotions.
In this book, there is a tunnel that he just changed, and there was a tunnel. And this tunnel, child of God, it helps you to learn how to turn your disappointment and frustration into your own advantage.
That's right. And then I talk about those emotions. There's so many emotions that I drew from. I picked them up. And I put them in the book. I said, you know what? It's not only me. There are people who are going to be experiencing this, and there are people who were experiencing sometimes the emotions that you feel guilty. There were times I felt guilty, expressing certain emotions.